Welcome everyone to this Zoom event. I'm Nurjahan Aziz, publisher at Mowensi House Publishers. It gives me great pleasure to have you all join us in celebrating the release of MAAME by Elizabeth Allua Vaah. Who will read from the book and who will be in conversation with Anna Aidoo, whom I will introduce very soon. But first we have some acknowledgements. We respectfully acknowledge the land on which we live and work is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Innu, and Métis. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Our publishing program is supported by Canada Council for the Arts, the Ontario Arts Council, and the Governments of Canada in Ontario. We are grateful to all of them for their generosity. For this event, we have a wonderful partner in Knowledge Bookstore in Brampton, who are offering free shipping anywhere in Brampton until December 31st, 2020. Please check their website for details. I should also mention that everyone will be on mute, and people who have questions, please type them in the chat, and either myself or Anna will read them out for discussion with Elizabeth. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Elizabeth and Anna. Anna arrived in Canada from Ghana as a young girl. She is the founder of the charity Endless Possibilities and Hope Development Organization, dedicated to uplifting humanity through various programs and initiatives, with particular focus on development, health, education, philanthropy, and community outreach. The organization's vision, in keeping with Anna's wish to make a difference, is to see a world in which women, including immigrant women and children and girls, are inspired to live a fulfilled life and to give back to society. Elizabeth Allua Vaah hails from Bakanta, a small village on the western coast of Ghana. She was the first in her family to attend high school and one of the first few girls in her village to go to university. Allua is an advocate for better maternal health through her foundation, the Vaah Junior Foundation, and she is a strong advocate for child education, never failing to use her own life story as an example of how girls' education impacts generations. Elizabeth Allua lives with her family in Brampton, Ontario. So now please go ahead, Elizabeth and Anna.
Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Everybody should wave. Let's get excited about this.
Hello.
Well, as has been said, thank you very much for that beautiful introduction. And I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to host this launch and conversation. I have to say I'm very proud of my sister for writing the book, for honoring the lives of women, Ghanaian women, as well as women all over the world. Because one woman's story is another woman's story. And so without further ado, I will ask Miss Elizabeth to tell us a little bit about herself.
Yes, so like Nurjahan already said, I grew up in Bakanta. In fact, we also call it Aakonu. Why it has two names, I still don't know. But it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I was there till I was about, I was ready for high school when I left there for the city. and then from there to University of Ghana, and then I ended up with my family here in Canada. So it has been like looking at where we came from. It has been a big journey, a long journey, but I'm glad that we've been able to make it, to have the experiences that we've had. We have the Virginia Foundation that serves as a voice for women who have issues during childbirth, especially from developing countries back home in Ghana. But everything that I do is about girls and women, making sure that they hear my story and they do things that they otherwise wouldn't. They get to know that they can reach levels that they think that looking at their current situation, they may not be able to. So yeah, I live with my family in Brampton and I work in the GTA in one of the banks.
Awesome, that's beautiful. So I really admire the fact that you work full time and also had time to write the book. What it tells us is that your passion doesn't have to be left behind because you got a job, right? Sometimes we get jobs to take care of ourselves, but we cannot forget our passion. So next, I want you to tell us, I want us to take the people on the call to the village where the book is set, as if we're actually going to the town and then listening to the story. So give us a bit about the village.
Yes, so Aakonu is a special place. We say that of all the villages, the small towns in the area, this was the only one that before you get there, you have to wash your feet, like whether you like it or not.
It's called honor.
Because you have to wade through the water up to a point before you take the canoe and get there.
Okay.
So that alone is an experience. And then once you get there, it's you have the village, and then we are right on the Gulf of Guinea. So like the Gulf of Guinea gets into the Atlantic Ocean. They're right on the beach, and then you have the river right beside us. So when we were younger, you would take a bath in the sea and then go and rinse in the river. That is how.
Oh, but
how excellent
mind and spirit are going back there already.
I tell you exactly, and you don't realize it until you are out of there that you realize that I was really living in paradise.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful little place. I hope someday everyone can come with me there.
No, don't hope. One day we're just going to have to take everybody there for them to experience the simplicity and what rich is, right? So why did you choose? I mean, you could have chosen any place to write about, right? But why did you choose your village, that particular village? You could have picked the capital city, you could have picked any other city. But why did you pick that city, that village?
Yes, so there are a lot of things that I wanted to tell the world about in terms of the people and the village itself, right? It's a small place, but it has a very big heart. And the people in it, if I'm writing about women and rural women, then I can't place it anywhere other than a place where it's both remote and open. Because on the sea, you can go anywhere. On the water, you can go anywhere. But if you're a stranger, you don't know how to maneuver with any of these, then it's not that easy for you to get in.
Then there's a problem.
And at the same time as well, the lives of the people and the sort of things that they have to go through, the sort of things they have to do, I felt that I needed to bring that to the rest of the world.
Okay.
Although this is fiction, but it's based also on experiences that is worth sharing with the rest of the world. So that was just the right setting, given the topic that I'm writing about.
And also it makes it authentic, because even though you say it's fiction, you know exactly the area you're talking about. You know how the area functions. You know how the people in the village behave. So it brings truth to the imagination, and hence the beautiful book, MAAME, Mother. I like that. All right. So the next question then is, so now you've told us where the village is, the fact that you have to go cross a river to get into the village, right? You've told us why you chose the village, yourself, the authenticity, the storylines that are there. So now, let's say we're all in the city. We've traveled with you across the water, and now we're in the city. Tell us a bit about each character. Let's get to know the people that are playing this game in this story called MAAME.
Okay. So each one of these characters in the book, I picked to show, to celebrate the certain features, certain things that I find very incredible about people in this community. I start off with Nana. Nana is the quintessential matriarch. So she, as a young woman, when her sister dies in childbirth, she leaves whatever she's doing and steps out to take care of her sister's children. She doesn't think about how is that going to affect my marriage? How is that going to affect my life, right? Mm-hmm. So in this community, it's not just my life, it's when duty calls, you respond and you make it work. Mm-hmm. So Nana does this, and Nana is the picture of strength and sacrifice. And it is so prevalent in the community and even smaller communities around us that I felt like I needed to celebrate her in this book. My next character, Ahu. Ahu is a young woman who gets married and then loses her husband. Mm. And out of it, she rises and ends up sacrificing so much to help her children reach where she couldn't get to. Mm. And again, in West Africa, you have so many, especially in the rural areas, there are mothers who would give up the last cloth on their back so that they can have the money to help their children get education. That is something that is incredible. Like, they will do anything for their children, including making sure that they have a better life than they had. And I feel like I use Ahu to celebrate those women. And then I have Ebela. Ebela faces the same problem that many young women face everywhere in the world, especially in developing communities, where you have to choose between your heart and what your family chooses for you when it comes to a partner, a marriage partner. So that is what Ebela represents, and it's everywhere in every community in West Africa. I have Aso. Aso is the hardworking, industrious woman. But in this community where so much premium is put on having children, not having children means that in spite of everything, she has to continually navigate the superstition of whether she's a witch or whatever. So again, I use her to show some of the things that are not as good, but people still go through and are worth talking about. Mm-hmm. My other character, Bomo. So Bomo is just like many first generation people from these communities who go to the city, to high school, to university, whatever. Now, even here in Canada, we have people in indigenous communities that have to leave their surroundings, 13, 14, 15-year-olds have to leave their communities to go to cities for high school. And you can imagine what that transition is. So I use Bomo to highlight that. And also, at the same time, you are in a new environment, very unfamiliar, and you still have to deal with them calling you from home, hey, come get married, why all this education, So there's all these things that are worth sharing and talking about in the lives of these women. And then at the same time, you have women who, because of the special role that they play, they transcend genders, like the priestess and the queen mother. So these are all very interesting topics that their characters portray in the book.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I like the way it sort of, you picked different generations to portray in the book, right? I love, you said initially, you said something about sacrifice, right? And yes, in Ghana, people sacrifice a lot for others and don't even look back to ask what's in it for me. Mm-hmm. They just take it as it comes and they roll with it. You really have taken me back home and are giving me some goosebumps right here. So now we've gone from you to your family here in Canada. We've crossed the river. We're into the village. Now we have all the characters in there that we have to look at. So what excites you about the book? If I'm listening to you right now, I'm excited. I want to know about the Nana. I want to know about Nana. I want to know about the feisty one. I want to know what their lives were like. How did they do this dance of life, right? So I want to ask you, what excites you about the book? So if I'm listening to you right now, I want you to give me a reason to buy the book. What excites you, the writer? Because I know writing is not easy. You have to sometimes shut everything so that you can focus, right? But what kept you going? What excited you? What made you want to go on and add another character and add another character?
I knew that I was going to write. That one was a given. It was more in like life got in the way, and then you have to do other things. Mm-hmm. So just happened that one day on the train, we got stuck between Weston and Tobico. We were just sitting there, and then I put my phone up and I brought up the notes app and just started writing. And it's like something that had to come out. Mm-hmm. And so if Nujahan remembers, when I got a hold of the book in my hand, it was a myriad of emotions. Like to be able to tell these stories, to be able to let people know who these women are. Like they are not necessarily the helpless, dejected women that sometimes the Western media portrays. But these are very strong women who know what they want and they go for it, no matter what stands in their way. Mm-hmm. And the way that they're able to do things without asking for anything in return. That is what I want to show. And I'm just excited that we've been able to bring this out. I am excited to share the stories of strength, resilience, triumph, heartache, steeped in Nzema culture to the rest of the world. And then there are a few proverbs there. There are some songs there, so you have it all.
Yeah. And you're now right now from one Ghanaian woman to another. You're taking me back to the village, where to the eye of an outsider, there's struggle. But for those of us who have grown up in these areas, you begin to feel strength, like you said. You begin to see a whole different world of a woman's power, not in a way to fight, but a woman's power to nurture community, to nurture love, to raise somebody, to show what simple power is all about. It's a shame that we're portrayed as the hungry women and the this and the that, but there's life. You see children running around with freedom. Nobody's chasing after them. You see people going up and down and they're free. They stop and they say hello to the person on the way. I'm seeing dirt road. I'm excited. I'm excited about this book. Oh my. So what is your vision?
Thank you.
What is your vision for the book? What do you see? Where do you see the book going? Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I have a few things here, and of course I am biased, but first when it comes to schools, right? I would like to see MAAME in the hands of especially high school girls in West Africa and even in North America and Europe. I would want them to see themselves in the possibilities that are before them. That is from a West African perspective. From the one in the remotest village to the one in the poshest part of the city. Mm-hmm. I want them to see the continuum, right? From where many of these women have started to where they could get to. Mm-hmm. And see themselves in there, and see themselves go beyond whatever limitations they may have, mm-hmm. whatever it is. With the North American students, and for the ones that are not of African background, to get to learn about other people, but also the ones that are of African background. You know, sometimes they say a tea my referee. Mm-hmm. So we have children and we have subsequent generations of children of African descent that may not necessarily have that connection. Mm-hmm. And my expectation is that they would read this book and feel something, and so that whatever they may be going through, they can put it in some context,
some perspective.
Now, in terms of travelers, people who are traveling to West Africa, because the thing is, although I pinpoint a specific village, if you go to a village in Cote d'Ivoire, it will be the same thing. You go to a village in Benin, Togo, it's similar almost. Similar. The names may be different, but the reality and the customs and things that they do are almost the same. So this book should give somebody traveling to West Africa and somebody involved with what do you call it, humanitarian activities and all that, some context, so that they don't work in a vacuum. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In terms of us here in Canada, like everyone else, I think Canada is becoming your virtual globe. Everyone is here. Mm-hmm. So adding MAAME to your list of books to read about different people is just right. Okay. And outside of this, universities can have it as some kind of a
reference book,
supplementary reading. Mm-hmm. And I also see like documentaries and who knows, maybe a movie. So I see this book going places.
I'm with you. I'm so with you. I can see myself playing who's the feisty one in the book. Because you know me, I don't play doll. If I'm going to be in the movie, all right, you better give me the feisty one. Because I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. That's for sure. Okay. I can play two parts, you know, like Medea does. I can be this, I can be that. Let's just start thinking about it. But anyway, I am going right along with you. I'm going right along with you in the sense that I think it's time for some of us to stop complaining about what is not being done and be the ones that are writing the story, right? Because you can't expect someone to leave their story behind and come and tell yours.
Yeah.
And if you don't tell yours, from my work experience and from what I see on a daily basis, if you don't tell your own story, somebody will come and take it and tell it. And then you have nothing to complain about. So I congratulate you for the work that you've put into this. And I know you've given us your vision. It's so broad. I know that this will be successful in the sense that if you've written the book, you might as well go all the way. That's what I think. But don't forget to always tap me for the feisty one in there. All right? Okay.
Sure.
All right. So now, what do you want? So now we've gone to the village. We've seen the characters. We've seen what they do, how they complement each other and all that. There's a lot of love in there. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of triumph. But above all, I like the fact that we see women's power in its natural environment, not with makeup and this, you know what I mean, but in their natural environment. And they do what they do and the village runs, right? So at this point, my next question is, what do you want people to take away from the book? Like right now, if I'm sitting here listening, what do you want me to take away from the book with me? I love the fact that, but I shouldn't be the one telling you. So just go ahead and tell us.
Well, I think I've said it already. There is a certain narrative, right, of the African woman, and sometimes when you look at pictures, it's these helpless people with kids around them, and they wonder where their next food is going to come from. I am not sugarcoating that. Yes, we have some of that, but we do have some of that here too, in all these places. The African woman, as portrayed in MAAME, is a picture of sacrifice, strength, resilience, and somebody who knows what she wants, and she does the best with the limitations to get to it. And many of them do that through their children. They know that I am too old to do this, but I'm going to make sure that you go do it. And if that means they will go hungry so that their son or daughter can go ahead, they don't think twice about it. So I want people reading this book to see her in that light, and to give her that kind of recognition.
Awesome, awesome. The feeling I'm getting right now, I'm seeing my mother and her sisters and how they used to take care of each other. When one is down, one would be up. One would be running up and down to make sure the other is okay. And then their children will now support each other. Now all our mothers are gone, but they've transferred that kind of love onto the next generation. And I think it is something that we have to take our time to teach, because when you look into schools and things like that, our African story is not told at all. It's not told authentically. Most of the time when it's told, it's about this hungry kid and that devastation and all that. But Ghana, I'm talking about Ghana because this book is set in Ghana. We just had our election and there was no problem. Do you understand? From the city to the villages, there was no problem. In Ghana right now, I'm happy because this book is set in our country, beloved Ghana, where education, elementary school education and high school education is free for all kids that can attend. So I don't see why this book should not be part of the curriculum there. You know what I mean? So it's important. Once we write, you have taken your time. I told you I'm writing a book. It's been on hold for about 5 months now. So I know what it takes to write a book. So once this book is written and it's so authentic and it's about a village in Ghana, I think it has to go all the way, right? So at this point, I would like to ask you, if somebody wants to reach you, how does the person reach you?
So in terms of me personally, I have my author website. It's aluavaah.com. And I'm also on social media. You can Elizabeth or Allua Vaah, they will both come to me.
Okay.
In terms of where to get the book, we have partnered for Brampton. We've partnered with Knowledge Bookstore, and then at our publisher's website, mawenzihouse.com, their website. We also have it at the various retailers. So online retailers have it, Amazon and Indigo and the others. But locally in Brampton, Knowledge Bookstore and their website as well. And then at the website of the publishers, mawenzihouse.com. I was saying as well that we will need to find like a marketing area in Africa to cover as well. So the publishers are working on that.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. So let's all give her, Miss Elizabeth, a big round of applause. I'm telling you, writing a book is not easy. But this story, I love the authenticity of this story. So now we have some questions from our audience, right? Are you ready, Miss Elizabeth, for the questions?
Yes, I am.
All right. So the first question is, and it's from Kathleen. It says, when was the last time you were home in Ghana?
Hello, Madam Hancock. That's my son's teacher. I'm excited to have you here. So, when was the last time? We were in Ghana 2 years ago. In fact, we are working towards a kind of a tourist hub for the place. We call it a homestead. So homestead ecotourism. That's have some kind of place where people can visit and they can see the natural beauty of the place. So yeah, we go home often. We were there 2 years ago. We're going to go this December, only for COVID to step in and change the plans.
Yeah. All right. So the next question is from Renee. And Renee says, did you learn anything new about yourself once the book was completed?
Hello, Renee. This is a tough question. Did I learn anything new? I didn't realize how emotionally attached I was going to be. Like, you know, there's a difference between when the thing is on the computer in PDF and when you actually hold it in your hand. It's so yeah, I felt like mommy is here. And in Ghana, mommy is mother, right? So it's like mother is here.
Did you hold the book?
That's something that I felt.
Did you hold the book and fall on your bed and go, ah. I know I would, and sleep for about a week.
No, I read it from cover to cover to make sure that, yes, it was identity.
You read it to make sure all the dots and everything were in the right place.
Exactly.
It's called Mommy's Home, and this is my baby. This is my baby. Nice. Okay, so the next question comes from Nika. Nika says, this book and the story impacts the readers. What impact did it have on you as you were writing it?
Yeah, so once I started writing, sometimes when I'm on my way from the train, I will be writing so much that when I get down there to my car, I sit in there and write for about 40 minutes before I move up and come home.
That's when you call the spirit is talking.
Yeah, so I felt like the characters were wanted me to write what it was that I was writing. So, and I felt so close. I felt close to my hometown and the environment and everybody there. It brought me closer to home, and I see all the time what a life we had. It's not like it was all rosy. There were times we were hungry and all that, but when you look at the richness of life, not just in terms of wearing the best clothes or sleeping even on a mattress, but that, you know, that feeling of knowing that someone's got you as a child.
Someone's got you.
All those things, looking at it now, it's
And I'm loving it. I am loving it because it was so simple. Life was simple. I don't know if it's because we were kids and we depended on our parents, but I know life was simple. It was very simple. So, okay, so the next question is from Dana Bang. And the question is,
hello.
How do you think the people in your village, district, or region will accept the story?
I think they will like it. My hometown especially, they are going to be excited that I'm showcasing the place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that there are some stories there that are not overly rosy, but yes, that is what it is. You have to take the good with the bad, mm-hmm. and show people this is what it is. Mm-hmm. Right? People lived like that. People lived those experiences. My own mother had a limp at some point, and somehow people said, oh, it's because somebody bought what she was selling and didn't like it, so then they threw it in a stream, and as a result of that, the god got mad at her, got angry, and then struck her. Well, it's something that people actually believe. So I'm just telling it like it is.
And the beauty of it is those stories are like real. People will be like, hey, it's you know, I'm almost enjoying the gossip right now. She did this and she did that. And then
I am not diplomatic. I will tell it like it is.
No, you don't have to be diplomatic. Let's just talk the real thing, because this is serious stuff we're talking about. All right. I'm just imagining like a madhouse where we're just sitting in front of the house on the floor on little stools with our little food, just gossiping. Oh man. People don't know what they're missing living in these mansions here in North America. I'm telling you, y'all have to buy the book. You just have to buy the book, because man, there's a real thing going on here. All right. So the next one again is from Danaban. It says, so would you describe the story as a celebration of Nzema, Ghanaian, African motherhood, and mothering practices?
Yes. Yes, like I said, like this is Nzema specifically, but you will find that's all these things happening in Fanti villages. You will find it in other villages. Mm-hmm. The names like Afiba, Akesi may be different. They will call it Akesi is called AC in Fanti, but it's the same understanding that it's a girl born on Sunday. You go to Cote d'Ivoire among the Agni, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, and they all have that the way they attach to their children. And you see, most of the time they don't, in a few households, you have a mother and a father there. But in most cases, you have one woman taking care of 6, 7 children. And she is cooking food for sale in the morning, going to the farm in the afternoon, coming home to cook for her children. And when it's time for them to go to university or something, whatever it takes, I am celebrating those people. Yes. And they are all over West Africa, East Africa, and Africa in general.
It's beautiful in the sense that, so I like the question. So would you describe the story as a celebration of Nzema, Ghanaian African motherhood and mothering practices? Even though this book is set in an African village and it talks about Black women, I think it talks about a woman's story. I think it tells a woman's story, how nurturing we are, how we take care of the people and leave ourselves behind, how we're feisty, no matter how much we're going down, we find a way to come up. So I'm feeling celebrated. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling all right now. I'm telling you. All right. So somebody said here, Josephine Yako says, congratulations, Liz. This is a must read.
Thank you.
And then Ramona Prasad says, with the BLM movement, Black Lives Matter movement, Elizabeth, this book has a far way to go. I am so happy for you. The launch couldn't happen at a better time. You should be a celebrity. Oh, now Jahan, you heard that? You should be a celebrity on the social.
Mr. Vaah, you heard?
Calling them.
Thank you, Ramona.
I know. And somebody says, Dorcia Smith. Can you tell us what other projects you are working on? Will you write a sequel to this book?
I haven't thought of a sequel, but I do have another one in the works. Like I keep saying, I wouldn't want to sugarcoat stuff. So this very Nzema culture that I'm celebrating in this book also does have some, what do you call it? Some unpleasant parts. So one of those is something that I am writing about, and it's going to be in the work soon. As soon as Nujehan and her team are ready.
We are ready.
But for now, let's have the party, okay?
Exactly.
Like, let's not run ahead. I mean, as long as you started the book, is in the back of your mind. But for me, anything I do that is worthwhile, there has to be a party. I think COVID is wasting our time. You know, we should be sipping on gin and juice, some cheeses and some crackers, you know, standing around, speaking to Nerjahan, meeting the author, you signing books. I mean, I have, like, the party is already in my head. I'm inviting you, but it's in my head, right? Okay, so then the next one says, Nana Vaah, where and when did your passion for writing come from?
Okay, Nana. I think I was born to write. So from a very young age, I started reading the Nzema Bible at like what, class 4 or something. Okay. So in my village for a long time, before I went to high school, I was reading the Bible at church every Sunday. And then in high school, I was writing I was taking part in a number of essay competitions. Okay. So it had always been there, but life came in, you have to work, you have to take care of kids and all that. And then I put it on the back burner for a while until, you know, that evening on the GO train. So yes, it's always been there. Was there a second part to the question?
You're truly an inspiration to everybody on this platform, in the sense that, you know, sometimes you get discouraged about life because things don't exactly go the way you want it. And a lot of times you'll find that a lot of people leave their passion behind. That is why I'm celebrating this book so much. So I'm not only celebrating the book, I'm celebrating you and the fact that you didn't give up. You know, you actually took steps to make it happen, and it has happened. Congratulations on that. Congratulations.
Thank
you.
I
want everybody on here, from the young to the old. Life is not easy. Life is not as straightforward. But whatever your passion is, no matter how winding the road is, I pray that you will arrive at some point with your passion looking at you, staring at you, and you can say that you did it your way. And the next one comes from, is it Nikabs? This speaks to your dedication. Oh, this one is so nice. Should I read it or keep it to myself? It's so nice.
We want to know.
It says, this speaks to your dedication. Your son was so proud about this book launch. Thank you for sharing with us. A lot of times, what we need to understand as adults is when we struggle, our children see it. When we're happy, our children see it. So we need to show resiliency. We need to let them see that even though mommy went through this and she went through that, even though mommy has struggled at this and that, she has been able to make her dream come true, so that one day they will have an example of what life is supposed to be like in front of you. The next question says, I'm not sure who it is, but it says, which character do you sympathize with the most?
Okay, which character? I relate a lot to Bomo because most of the things that she has to deal with, I had to deal with as a village girl coming to the city to go to school. So I relate a lot to her. Yeah, so if it's one, then, but I have a soft spot for Ebela as well. I have a soft spot for her. She's like, if you interview 100 girls from villages, 40–50% of them would have had to deal with somebody deciding who you should marry. And even still, it happens. They don't, sometimes it doesn't matter that you can be something. They want you to get married and that is it. So I can sympathize. I sympathize a lot with Ebela as well and all that she had to go through.
I really hope you'll have the opportunity to read to the girls in the village. You know, bring the book, bring some copies to them, not only to the girls, but the whole village. Why? You know, these kids need to see their own. You see, these kids need to see their own so that they can say that somebody from my village has written a book. That means I'm capable of it. It's important for them to see you in that environment that you grew up in, that they are in, to give them a bigger picture of what they can be. And we can assure them that they don't have to travel somewhere, that right there where they are, they can be who they want to be. So the next question is, Kathleen says, the proudest young man Junior is. And Matthew Ing says, thank you for sharing this with us. The next question is, and this is from Dorcia. No, this is from Nana. Where and when did your passion for writing come? Did we ask that already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the next one is from, well, the person didn't put a name, but it says, what will you have included in the book if you are to rewrite this book?
What would I have included? I think where it ended was just where it was supposed to be. If anything, it would be, I would probably want to expand on Ebela beyond this book. But I think in terms of what is where, in terms of this book, it has what needs to be in it.
Okay, all right, that's awesome. And then it says, from Ramona, it says, how long did it take you to write and publish your book?
Yeah, so the writing part took about 1.5 years. And then it came in terms of finding a place for it, who can publish it. One thing is, don't think that because you like it, everyone will like it. I had quite a few rejections, but because I hadn't found the right place. Once Nujehan saw it, she said, send it over. Mr. Vasanji, right? And I just initially sent the query and he said, bring it over. So I wasn't even fully done, but I knew that this was the right place for it. And the book, being the way it is, has been a result of a lot of guidance, a lot of editorial support from that team. Like they helped me bring things out that I had taken for granted. So it's getting the right place for the book that relate to your subject and want to, as much as possible, help you to bring it out as you want to bring it out. Is the hardest part.
That is awesome. But how did you find this company to work on the book with?
It's research.
The research.
Yeah, I was Googling everything. I was looking everywhere. And then I found them, and the name tickled me even, like Mawenzi. So then I started digging further, and I looked at the profile of all the authors, and I'm like, this looks like if I take it here and they don't take it, I might go self-publish or something. So fortunately, they did. And if I had self-published, there were things that wouldn't have come up, and there were things that would have come out that wouldn't be the way it is. So I really acknowledge their support and all the work that we all work on it together.
And Mawenzi sounds very much like a Ghanaian name. Mawenzi sounds very much like a Ghanaian name.
It is the second peak of Kilimanjaro.
Oh,
exactly. Oh, Mawenzi, yeah.
Awesome. Nice. And it feels as if the book found its home.
Yes.
Nice. So there's one here from Francis Akumfi. I hope I said the name right, Francis. It says, hi, I'm Francis Akumfi from Bakanta.
Yes, that's my hometown. Yeah.
Oh, I recommend.
It's almost midnight there, Francis. Thank you so much.
I like that your hometown person is on here. I recommend that the book should be translated into a movie. This will benefit community members who cannot read and write. And this will help sell our community to the outside world. Oh my goodness, Elizabeth, you're about to blow up. I like that. Can you imagine if the movie is actually shot in the village with the village people? Don't forget to take me along, okay?
Yeah, when you're ready.
You give me two parts, the feisty part, the woman with power. I want the woman with power, and the young girl who thinks she can take over the world.
Princess Yaba, right? Princess Yaba.
That's so good. Somebody, Kathleen says, here, Ramona. And it's another one says, congrats, Liz. I am so proud of you. And then Francis again says, how would you like this book to be remembered in the locality back home in Ghana? How will it make it one of the books in Nzima at the basic schools in Ghana? This is a very critical question and an action that should be taken.
Well, how would we do that? So in terms of the basic schools, I think this is a bit more middle school, high school kind of situation. Like that's the level that the book should be read at, in my opinion. In terms of how we do that, we're working with the publishers to see how we do that. I would also, hope that the Ministry of Education in Ghana would hear of it, see it, read it, and find it of good quality and worthy of being in Ghanaian classrooms. I don't see why we would read about so many other things, and many of us don't even know nothing, especially the kids in the city. They have no idea how life is like in the villages. So, if I was in the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, I would be interested in reading this book and then deciding whether it should be supplementary reading for the students.
But I think what it is for us to present it to the Ministry of Education. So it is not so much what they should do as to what we would like to see, right? What we would like to see. And then we have to be consistent. We have to be persistent.
Okay.
So that it's there. We have to be persistent. Who do we have to talk to? Who do we have to connect with? Because like you said, many of us grew up reading stories outside of us. And then you're
Wuthering Heights.
And New York and Niagara Falls And like we knew places, but right next door to us, if you ask many of us right now, like right now, if you tell me to go to your village, I'll be like, when? You know what I mean? Because I don't know where it is. Right? So it is critical in this day of Black Lives Matter. We have to thank God for giving us the vision to tell our own story. I don't think Black Lives Matter is about violence or attacking anybody. It is about let's tell our story. So you've taken the lead, let's go with it. Somebody said, which character was the hardest to write about? This one is from Louise Vaah.
Which one was the hardest? I think Asa. Asa was hard because I sympathize so much with her and I celebrate her, but to see her go through all that, and she virtually bankrolls this household that she's part of, and yet she's not treated well. And so it was tough to write her.
Okay.
It was.
Okay. So she was like the sacrificial lamb. So Rejoice says, what additional research did you have to do in writing this book?
What is what?
What additional research did you have to do in writing this book?
Yeah, so part of it, like I wanted to portray Nzima culture, both for the book and also as something that for children after us, they will be able to have a connection to. Yeah, some of those things I didn't really know per se, so I had to read around and I had to do a bit of research to get. Interestingly, some good source of getting some Nzima cultural practices and things like that was written down by an Italian. Can you believe that?
No, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, so that was one of the sources of research for me too. Okay. In addition to the ones I knew, at least there were things that I had to research about that I had to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question is from Smile. It says, thank you for bringing us to memory lane, and we all must get some for ourselves and children, especially those in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Smiler, good job and God bless.
Thank you, Smiler.
All right. Junior Vass says in all capitals, I am so proud to have an amazing, talented mom. Nice, nice.
I know, Junior, and I don't take it for granted.
Oh, that's so sweet. Goosebumps. Goosebumps. The next one says, as the principal of HCPS, I would love to have this book in our school and share this with our students. The opportunity to hear your story, the stories you are telling is powerful. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Nika. Yes, I'm available. So when your students are ready.
And Dana Banks says, would you say the story also reveals in very subtle ways the plight of widows and childless women?
Yes, a lot. It is something that is an open secret. Like even the widowhood rights that we have in the various cultures, it's not good at all. You don't want to do this to somebody who is already mourning her better half. They don't do it to men, but they do it to women. And it's usually the women who are doing it to their fellow women. That is not right. In terms of women who don't have children, even those who had children and the children died, like it's like they are nothing. You can be everything, but without a child, it's like you are nothing. It doesn't have to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those people end up being the best foster mothers that you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Nana that I talk about, she didn't have children of her own, but then she just sucked in her sister's children. And even if you wanted to know whether those were her children, it would be like, why do you want to know? You're being too inquisitive, right? So these women are selfless. They do whatever they can, and yet in some of those societies, they easily get tagged as witches and get treated sometimes not very well.
So would you say that those of us, I would say, who now understand these things have a duty to educate society about such a thing? Because I don't see why a woman's value or her worth has to be tied to whether she has children or not. She's breaking her back for her community. She's living her life. Would you say, because I'm finding more and more as I, participate in the wider community, that we as African women do not tell our story. We have so much experience. We share it in our little groups, but don't take a platform to address an issue. So would you say that it is important that we do that, take on a cause and champion it?
It is, yes. If I read somewhere that if something is not right, change it. If you can't change it, then that's something. But you have to do something about. If something is not right, don't just sit there and expect that someone would do it, because nobody will.
Yeah.
And as women, if we don't say it, who will? I speak about even period in this book, and a man will not know what a period is, right? Mm-hmm. You don't expect them to make policy decisions about period.
There's a statement here by Ramona. It says, Elizabeth, my daughter Sophia raves about your son Junior as the smartest kid in her class. Sophia and Junior were in 2 classes together. You're a wonderful mom and a good example to your son Junior. I like how you are all for education, empowering children, especially girls. Let's give you a round of applause. And we want to thank you all for joining. I have to read this one.
Okay.
I really have to read this one. It says, I believe this is the first Nzima book and one that addresses the issues of the girl child, mothers, and the resilience of most Ghanaian women. Well done, my sister. So proud of you. And this one is from Angie Teria. Angie, thank you for joining us. And yes, we're very proud of you. We all know this book is going to go very far. And from Mawenzi House, it says, if you have a friend who couldn't make the event and would love to watch a recording of it, please visit our Facebook page and the link is right there. So, Miss Elizabeth, thank you so much for blessing us with this book. Thank you for your dedication to your village, to the story of women. We pray that this book goes very far and we continue to see it over and over and over again. Stay blessed, everyone. Once again, congratulations. And congratulations, Mawenzi House, for bringing us this book, MAAME, called Mother. I think we should close with singing the song, Miss Elizabeth. Umum, Tabrumum, Sisiumum. I see Miss May is on there. Eya ya zawaya. Ah. Sisiumum, Tabrumum, Sisiumum, Tabrumum. I don't know the rest of the words, but everybody.
Offering you fan tabonon kwankwanichiro.
Thank you all. Stay blessed and have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
I wanted to thank Anna There was a wonderful interview that you did with Elizabeth. Both of you were so good and so interesting and so inspiring. It really was a great conversation you had, the two of you. Thank you so much. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank my staff, Crystal and Sabrina, who have done a wonderful job throughout, not just for this event, but for things in general at Mowenzi. And thank you all for attending, the audience. It's been wonderful to see you all. I hope you enjoyed the event.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay blessed, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.